Today is August the 30th, and on this day in 1962 there was a new entry into the US Billboard Hot 100, and that song was Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. It's playing in the background because, in fact, Green Onions was the first single I ever bought, and it has a special place in my heart as a result of that. I didn't buy too many singles, I prefer 12-inch singles and albums, but I did buy this, and it was the first single. And no, I did not buy it in 1962 because it didn't hit the UK charts until 1979 and peaked, I don't know, number 7 or something in 1980, which I imagine is when I bought it, because apparently it was in the movie Quadrophenia. And this is an embarrassing fact about my past, is that I was, for a brief period of time, which I've mentioned before, a bit of a mod revival kind of guy. At that age I would have been very much into mod clothing and some mod music, but I never actually watched Quadrophenia, and even worse, I didn't particularly like The Who. So I was in a lot of trouble with that, but nonetheless, I did love this song, and so I bought it. And I thought, well, I really want a drink to mark that. I've carried on listening to this. I still listen to it and love it right up until now. So how many years later that is? Well, 41 years it turns out, more or less. And I couldn't find a sort of green onion cocktail, but I could find one that sort of sums up. It's actually an Atlanta cocktail, at least where the bar is where this is from. Not so far away from Memphis, which is where Booker T was from, and the MGs and I believe their record company. But I have at least included, instead of my normal George Dickel rye whiskey, this one's going to include Jack Daniel's Tennessee rye whiskey in it, so hopefully, you know, that sort of makes the connection a little stronger. And this drink is called Rhythm and Soul because it's rhythm and blues music, it's soul music. I mean, how do you describe this apart from amazing, which is mostly what I think about it? But this drink it was invented by a famous Atlanta bartender called Greg Best. I was going to call him George Best then, the greatest football, aka soccer player that never made it to a World Cup. But he described it as a kind of love child of a Sazerac and a Manhattan. And as I like both of those drinks, I think this is a really terrific drink to mark an amazing song from the South. So, as I say, I'm going to use some rye whiskey, 2 ounces to be exact. But no, wait a minute. I'm forgetting something. I keep on forgetting crucial moments. Luckily, I haven't ruined anything yet. And that is, this, like a Sazerac, takes a rinse of absinthe. And it's just a bar spoon of it. And in the recipe, you're supposed to just pour the bar spoon of absinthe into a glass with ice, like so. But I'm going to follow Simon Difford's recommendation, which is to put a little bit of water in there as well, just a tiny splash of that, you know, just to water it down slightly, so as you're rinsing it around, you get more of a rinse. And then his tip is to then strain it into a shot glass and have it as a kind of side shot to the main cocktail, which I think is a terrific idea. Absinthe is not cheap stuff. Why would you just throw it away, which all these recipes say? Anyway, let's go back to where I was so rudely interrupted by myself. 2 ounces of rye whiskey into a mixing glass that you've already got well filled with ice, like so. 2 ounces of that, and then it's a ½ an ounce of sweet vermouth, and the one specified in the recipe I saw was the Antica Carpano, which is delicious, really a rich sweet vermouth. You just need a ½ an ounce of that. I did somewhere else see that there was a recipe. There are only 2 places I saw, and one of them suggested 1½ ounces of rye whiskey. But I think the 2-to-1 ratio, as in a Manhattan, makes the most sense. Anyway, it's ½ an ounce of that sweet martini, and then ½ an ounce of amaro Averna, which is delightful stuff. Makes it a more complex drink, obviously, as the amari tend to do. So ½ an ounce of that in there. You then get a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters, like so. And then just when we're ready to do this, what I'm going to do is strain my absinthe water into my shot glass so I get a little sip of that. Then I will discard this ice, so we're good to go. I'm going to stir this through good. Oh, I've got a jumping ice cube there already. It's too much excitement in one day. And just give this a good stir for at least 20 seconds or so with plenty of ice in it, so you don't get too diluted but you still get cold, because this drink does not have ice in it. So we've now got a cold glass, and hopefully a very well stirred and well chilled cocktail here. And that is feeling very well chilled. I will pour it into my rocks glass, which is the glass I used. And that's a very rich, dark, chestnutty brown colour there. And there's one garnish, and it's up to you whether you actually put this in. It's a twist of lemon, and I'm going to express the oils over the top. You can see it all squirted out on there. It makes a little film, but I like a little colour or decoration in my drink, so I'm going to put that in there as well, and let's see what we've got. Now that is a worthy drink for a fantastic song. Cheers.